Hello and welcome to the first edition of the Jake Gilbert Show, your chance to hear the thoughts and comments of the head coach of the Little Giant program. And Coach, first of all, congratulations, our chance to officially welcome you as head coach. You've spent the season as the associate head coach. And before we go too far talking just briefly about last Saturday's game and about this game that we have upcoming, can you tell me your thoughts on working with Don Morell this past season as the associate head coach, and of course your interactions with him as an alumnus and as a high school football coach over the years during his coaching career?
Well, it was a great opportunity for me, and I really enjoyed being a part of his last season. So I think a special season for Don, knowing after our few decades of coaching, that it's coming to an end, and so an honor to be a part of it. When you're a head coach, which this will be my 20th season, you don't get the same opportunities to learn from others because you are the leader. So it can be harder to find time to learn from others doing what you do. There's less head coaches than assistants. There's less opportunities, and a lot of people are guarded and secretive about everything. So I was able to essentially spend a year under his tutelage and on staff learning and watching how someone else does it for a change, and that was great. And then on a personal level, Don just treated me with so much class and grace. I was, like anybody, probably a little concerned, like, how is this going to work out? You can't have two bell cows. So I just thought that Don was so clear with the expectations and laid back and allowing me to lead the things that I led in the program, the defense, the weight training, recruiting. But he also just treated me with such just class and like I said, grace. When I made mistakes, he was very patient, but he also just was fun to be around. So I really enjoyed the time to study under him and the opportunity that he gave me.
What was it like for you when you got the offer to be the associate head coach with the understanding you would then be elevated to this position as head coach? When you got that word, what ran through your mind?
Well, I secretively had kind of coveted this position, and I thought that maybe there was a chance that Coach Morell would go out with Liam Thompson. So I kind of had my eye on the situation a little bit, just in case, not knowing that it would work out. I didn't know if Wabash would have any interest in me, but just in case they did, I was watching. Well, then when I found out he was coming back, I kind of moved on with my life and had taken actually another job as a vice president at a company and was still coaching football and other things. Well, when the offer came through, I guess I was surprised, a little bit shocked, lost for words for about a minute or two. I told him I'm definitely interested in the head coaching part. The in-waiting part, I'd have to think about. It had been a long time since I'd been an assistant coach. But the next day I called him and said, okay, I would love to, but they'll never buy it. So I thought that, the Wabash administration, I just felt like it would be a really strong move to hire a guy without opening it up for interviews and seeing who they could get for a job this good, and I just felt like it would be a big ask for them to just hand me the keys that easy. So I didn't really think. And then my first conversation with Matt Tanney, I felt like, nah, they're not going to do it. And then before I knew it, it ramped up pretty quick. And so I was just honored and overjoyed. It was a dream job of mine that I thought maybe one day when I retire, I could go back and help out whoever's running the Wabash program. And I didn't know if the timing would ever work out for me, but I'm honored that it did.
I know we're excited to have you. You've been around Wabash football for a long time as a player, as an assistant coach in your first stint here with the coaching staff, and now this year as an assistant coach and now taking over as the head coach. What has made Wabash football so special to you over those years?
That's a great question. And I would say a lot of people don't know that. The last 4 Wabash coaches, which goes all the way back into the 1980s, I've been here for parts of their tenure. I played for Greg Carlson, coached for him a little bit. I coached for Chris Creighton, who hired me, Eric Rayburn, Don Morell, and now it's my turn. So, I think there's still a brotherhood that persists no matter who the coach is. And I believe that there's priorities about Wabash, academics, the gentleman's rule, some of those things, just the nature, there's just an inherent knowledge in our players somehow that the priority is Wabash. And while we're here, let's play great football. And that has been, I think, something that has continued to be special no matter who the head coach has been.
Let's talk a little football first. Unfortunately, the down part of the conversation. Tough day last Saturday in Greencastle, a 42-21 loss to a very, very good DePaul football team that will have a bye in the first round of the playoffs. It was tough for the offense to really get going early in the game, but the defense really rose up. You came into the game as one of the top red zone defenses in the country, and you showed exactly why you have that ranking. 2 times you turned DePaul away inside the red zone early. The offense then got a touchdown late in the first half to make it a 14-7 ball game, and it really felt like momentum was on the side of the Little Giants, and then just that tough 3-minute span to open the second half, and that kind of ended up deciding the game. What were your thoughts, having now had a chance to look back on the game in film in preparation for this week's game?
Well, just, from last week, I think you nailed it. We just really struggled to run the football, and that was our game plan, and it did not work. They were excellent up front, and so, we were out there quite a bit defensively in the first half, but we did turn them away in the red zone twice, and that's something to be said because these guys averaged 54 a game and 500 and some yards. So I felt like as a team, the offense getting that touchdown at the end of the half was enormous. And so, coming out at halftime 14-7 on the road, there was no panic there. I thought we were in great shape. But then, we kind of started playing the clown music to start the second half. And very unfortunate one-play drive, which was something we could not give up defensively, and then we had a fumble on special teams, threw a pick deep in our own territory, and then gave up another score. So that was about the worst start you could script across the football team. And just like that, it was 28-14, and or 28-7, and we just really didn't recover from that point. That margin was the margin at the end as well. So we played them fairly even after that, but that 3-minute, start to the second half. You talk about the middle 8. Well, we scored at the end of the first half, but we absolutely got crushed to start the second half. So kudos to them. We learned some things. Obviously, you always win when you always learn when you lose. And so I think we picked up some things about what we can and can't do and should and shouldn't do that will carry over into this game. But just wish those lessons don't happen in the Monon Bell game, right?
The good news, as you alluded to, it's not the final game of the season because of the addition of this Opendorse Bowl Series taking place in Canton with the North Coast Athletic Conference, the Heartland Collegiate Athletic Conference, the President's Athletic Conference, and the Ohio Athletic Conference. I think I got everybody in there. There will be 2 bowl games at Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium in Canton, Ohio this weekend, and Wabash will represent the North Coast in the game against Hanover from the Heartland Collegiate Athletic Conference. That's the 1 o'clock game, the Forever Lawn Bowl game. Getting all my sponsors in as well. What was it like? I mean, it was obviously a decision that Wabash had to make. Wabash had the opportunity to turn down playing in this bowl game. What made it important and what makes it important to be playing this weekend?
Well, first, I'd like to also thank Opendorse and definitely Forever Lawn as well. Just what a great opportunity for us. So in terms of the decision, we wanted to do what was best for the program. it's kind of an awkward situation with Don's retirement. But Don was very selfless in the matter and said, well, whatever's best for the program is what we should do. And I felt like, if nothing else, just due to the transition in coaching, that this would give me an opportunity to be the head coach for 1 week, establish new standards for how we do things, how we practice, or how we meet, any of those kinds of changes I'd like to make that will jumpstart how we do those same things in the spring and eventually next fall. But then also evaluate some younger players that haven't gotten to play as much that will play a little more in this game, and even evaluate our staff. So with Coach Morell stepping down, he was our offensive play caller. He was masterful at that. So there's just some opportunity on staff because we're doing a couple things different for some of our guys, and they deserve that opportunity. And I thought that this would give them a chance to elevate their careers in some way by at least having a responsibility, even if it's just for this week. And we wanted to take advantage of that.
The other advantage you have this weekend is you play a very good Hanover football team. They led the Heartland Collegiate Athletic Conference in defense and fewest points allowed. Very talented offensive group. Their quarterback is a dual threat. He's a good passer, good runner. They have a couple of good receivers. Their running back is also a very good receiver, and they've utilized him well in the passing game. And their defense, it doesn't seem to make the spectacular play. They just are very solid and don't give up a lot. What have you seen on film, and how have you been preparing for this very good Hanover team?
Well, I know their head coach, Theo, and I are the same age. So we've been in it for a little while, and I do know that they are well coached defensively and prepared. They're not going to beat themselves a whole lot on that side of the ball, for sure. Offensively, they've got a couple of good players, some new PAL kids that were coached well and have won a lot of games. I think they've got a great culture down there. Offensively, they put strain on your defense with lots of shifts and motions. They throw to several different guys. They use lots of different people on the offense. 2, 3 different running backs. The quarterback runs the ball. 4 guys have similar amounts of catches. They'll throw to the back out. They screen you. They'll throw deep shots. They can run zone plays and gap plays. So they do a lot of different things that make you uncomfortable defensively. And that's part of, I think, their identity offensively. Defensively, they'll bring some pressure. They're a 4-down defense most of the time. A good cover 4 team. I think they're pretty aggressive against the run with their safety play, and they've got a couple corners that they trust to cover.
Talking to some of the players, you're going to get a chance, the players get a chance to play. You'll be coaching in an NFL-style stadium. Yeah. I've been to the Benson Hall of Fame Stadium several times for some Hall of Fame games. I went for the D3 National Championship game a few years ago. It's an impressive place to play a football game. How much excitement do the players, do you as coaches have just when you walk into the stadium, taking that little 2-3 minutes when you first walk in to just go, we get to play football here?
Well, I think it's a unique opportunity. As a Division III player, you don't get to play in these marquee environments all that much. Usually when you play in an enormous stadium like that, it just looks like your crowd is really small. So hopefully our following bunches up and can still be loud and mighty, but it'll be fun. We're looking forward to the banquet. We're looking forward to touring the Hall of Fame. We're looking forward to playing in that stadium. So all of those things are part of the experience. Our goal is to make this a life-changing, amazing experience for our guys and to help them reach their full potential in all areas. And so we believe that an opportunity like this is just part of the experience that they'll never forget.
That game is 1 o'clock on Saturday, again at the Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium in Canton, Ohio. There's a link to tickets on the Wabash website on the sports schedule page for football. There is also a link to the live stream broadcast if you can't join us in Canton. It is being produced by Flow Sports on their Flow College broadcast channel, and that is a subscription service, so you will have to go behind their paywall to watch that game. But again, links and information are available on the Wabash College football schedule page. Coach, I want to thank you for joining us for the first of what will be several of these shows. We get to do this every week and look forward to talking to you next year as we get ready to talk about the 2025 season. But thank you for kind of wrapping up the 2024 season.
It's been an honor. Wabash always fights.
And I want to take a moment to thank Coach Don Morell for all of the time we've been able to spend together over his career, both as an assistant and as the head coach. Don will continue, as we mentioned last week, working here at Wabash College in the advancement office, so I'll still get a chance to work with him on a regular basis. But I know so many people have talked about how much they enjoy watching this show with Coach Morell, and I know you'll continue to enjoy watching it with Coach Gilbert in the future. My thanks, of course, as always, to our camera operator, Ethan Cook, to our producer, Adam Phipps. Along with Coach Gilbert, I'm Brent Harris. You've been watching The Jake Gilbert Show, your chance to hear the thoughts and comments of the head football coach of the Little Giant program, and we'll talk to you next year.